FD3 Music Club. Ha. What up, Music Club? Shabbat Shalom. Peace and blessings. How you doing today? Doing all right? Feeling all right? I hope so. Has been a beautiful day today for me. How's your day been? I hope it's been good. Like when I say I hope it's been good, I mean like I hope that when you sit back in the evening, tonight, whenever, and you look back on your day, you can say that you walked straight, you felt great, you was able to put out some positivity, or maybe even draw some positivity in, you know what I mean? And all to soothe your soul, to elevate your consciousness, to bring you more in harmony with the peace and love that Yahweh put inside you, that's of Him, because you have fortified yourself with His word, which is His Son, which is Yahshua, which means Yah is salvation. So you find your salvation and you walked it out. You had a great day. That's what's up, right? One day at a time, doing the right thing and enjoying doing it. Yeah, the enjoyment comes from what you put out. You put out positivity, you get positivity. First, you got to have good heart and good intentions, right? So, like, take for instance, today, I did a few things. One of the greater things I did, I'm gonna share with you, and this I usually don't share because it's not something to be done for purpose of publication or recognition or self-grinding, pumping myself up. It's not for that. I'm sharing it with you though for clarification because this is a subject that has been greatly debated, talked about, used by the enemy in order to rob Yahweh's people under the guise of all types of other things except for the right thing. So now's a good time to talk about it. Tithing. Tithing. Right? So basically, what you've been told is you tithe 10% of your income to the house that you serve or the house that serve you. All right? Vice versa. Okay? Now, let's understand the purpose of tithing, the original purpose of tithing, right? This was a tool meant for the righteous to use in order to fulfill prophecy by showing the righteous how to look out for one another and by being obedient to the Spirit of Yahweh. Not to let money rule you, but you understand that whatever blessing that Yahweh gave you, you respect it as a blessing. And because you respect it as a blessing, you respect Him for giving you the blessing. You respect Him, then you do what He wants you to do with your blessings. Right? So, He say, for people to people, in order for my community, because first He told you, come out of the nations. Right? So He ain't gonna tell you to come out of the nations without giving you a way to do it, to survive, to thrive, right? So He wants you to come out the nations. Then He wants you to come together and be what they call the church. Right? Now, how do you do that? And what did tithing got to do with that? Okay, check this out. We're gonna try to keep it real simple, right? But we also gonna try to be comprehensive here. So, you heard of the 10% being given. All right. Now, the given standard is you give 10%. Okay. That's not a law, though, that says that's what you got to do. Because, well, first let's start with giving your tithe to a place, a church or temple, whatever you get into, right? But if you're trying to follow scripture, the place that you give your blessings, your tithes to, should be the place where when you enter, you get the word. The word being Yeshua, scripture, right? And when you come out, you should feel that you have been touched by the Spirit of Yahweh. Because the Spirit of Yahweh should be reaching out to the Spirit of Yahweh in you in order to reach you where you at, in order to help you be a better you, to get closer to Yahweh in you, to be better at using scripture, Yeshua, to find your way back to unity of Yahweh. Now, if you go into a building and you come away with anything less than that, that means one, scripture wasn't being told to you, not the way it was written, which is why it's very important for you to learn scripture for yourself. That's very important. That way, when you're reading scripture, you are aware of what it says. So when somebody come and talk to you, and they come and talk in all these weird names and all these made up gods and no name gods and Zeuses and Jesuses and all this stuff, your brain gonna say, wait a minute, that's not what I read. This is not what the Father has showed me. So what I'm listening to can't be from the Father. And if it's not from the Father, where else can it be from? You know the answer to that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just hop around in scripture and see what Yeshua says about it. Right? We're gonna start off at Better Sheet, Genesis, chapter 14. And forgive the noise in the background. I'll check that should it become necessary. It's just the enemy doing what he do. But we're going to keep doing what we do because that's what we here for. See, that's what the peace of Yahweh is for. You know what I'm saying? No distractions can deter us from our vision. All right, so Genesis chapter 14, verse 20. Now, a lot of y'all may be familiar with this, so just bear with me. You know what? 20 is the exact one, but we're going to back up and we're going to start at 18. We're going to do 18, 19, and 20. All right? All right. I think it's more relevant to the story. And Melchizedek, sovereign of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Now he was priest of the Most High El. And he blessed him and said, blessed be Avram of the Most High El, possessor of the heavens and earth. And blessed be the Most High El, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him a tenth of all. Now he got that on the strength of being Yahweh's warrior. Right? He got that 10% on the strength of him being Yahweh's warrior. What does it mean to be Yahweh's warrior? It means that everything he do, he fight from the word of Yahweh. Everything he do, he fought and lined up with the word of Yahweh. He did it so excellently that he was called blessed. of the Most High El. Right? So my man say, yo, 10%, that's yours, partner. I appreciate your service. Thank you. I'm a righteous man, and that's what it is. I got it. Boom, you get it. Right? He came in direct contact with the spirit of Yahweh in the warrior form, and he respected it and gave it up. All right? Keep that in mind. Now we're going to go on to Leviticus. Warika. Leviticus 27. 27, 30, and 32 is what I wrote down. However, once again, we're going to back it up a little bit, and we're going to start at 28. We go from 28 to 32. Leviticus chapter 27. However, whatever a man lays under ban for Yahweh of all that he has, man and beast, or the field of his possession, is not sold or redeemed. Whatever is laid under ban is most set apart to Yahweh. So that there says, you decide what you put in the side for Yahweh's cause. Keep that in mind. We're going to keep reading. No one under the ban among men is ransomed, but shall certainly be put to death. Mess with that if you want to. There have been many who collect in Yahweh's name false pretenses with bad intentions, undercurrents of things that are not of heaven. And trust me when I tell you, though it may seem that they lavishly living, doing it up, woo, 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 all that money will destroy them. Okay? Every penny of it. Plus the energy of the deceitful hearts and the nature, the decrepit hearts. But we're just gonna keep reading though right now. And all the tithe of the land, of the seed of the land, or the fruit of the tree belongs to Yahweh. It is set apart to Yahweh. Don't even belong to man. So how you gonna be deceitful to take something, use it to your advantage, working for the devil, and you know it belongs to Yahweh? Or how could you receive Yahweh's blessings and do something foul with it and think that it's gonna grow for you? Or that you get any positivity out of it? See, when you do it in his way, he say, whatever you give, I'm gonna give it back to you. And I'm gonna multiply it 7 times. But if you don't do it right, what you gonna get? I'm gonna keep reading though. And the entire tithe of the herd and of the flock, all that passes under the rod, the 10th one is set apart to Yahweh. So the tithing, keep in mind, is Yahweh's money. All right? He bless you to get an income. Doing whatever it is that you do, whether you do it for yourself, whether you help somebody else doing it, whether you work for a company, whatever you do. But you say, I'm going and join and line up with your covenant, Yahweh, and I'm going to do what you say do. First of all, I thank you for the gig. I thank you for the blessing. Now, I'm going to show my thanks because I thanked you in private. Now in public, I'm going to show you. Not for bragging, not for recognition, but I'm going to show you my appreciation by being obedient to your word. So I'm going to take my 10% and I'm going to make sure that I use it in your cause. All right? But we ain't done reading though, because now we're going to move over here to Beth-Mithbar, Numbers. Numbers chapter 18. I wrote down 21 through 32. Let's see if we're not going to back up. Let's see. Okay, 21. And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. See, remember when Melchizedek got that blessing? Because he was a servant of Yahweh, doing Yahweh's job, doing what Yahweh told him to do in Yahweh's way. That's like Yahweh paying him on the earth. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, listen, you did what you were supposed to do. You surrendered to me. You let me move in. You let me guide you. You asked me to order your steps. We did that. Man, all right? So these people, the Levites, they were in charge of disseminating the word, holding the word down. You know what I mean? That was service. That was service to Yahweh, because every time you speak the truth to somebody and to help them to understand it, you're doing Yahweh's work. So when you use your tithes and there's money on the earth, he gonna pay you for it. See, Yahweh don't lie. He's not complicated or confusing, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna have you wondering, ooh, what should I do? How much should I do? Well, he speak to you very clearly. But you have to learn it for yourself. That way you can't be tricked. Anywho, we was reading here, right? 22. And let the children of Israel no more come near the tent of appointment, lest they bear sin and die. Okay, well, that part is no longer in action because of the advent of Yeshua. All right? You get to go before Yahweh anytime you want inside of you, which is why he say, bring your issues to me. Go into your closet. You worship me in private, I will exalt you in public. See how it goes together with the tithing? Use the physical to explain the spiritual. All right? All right? He trying to get you used to the idea of coming to him and letting him do his thing. Right? That's the glory of Yah. When you get to align with the word, you get to understand the word, you get to feel the word, you get to walk the word, you get to teach the word by what you do, not just by running off at your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And he starts to show in your life. Then you become that standard that you're supposed to be when you follow Yeshua. Right? All goes together. No, all right. But we're still reading though. 23. Because the Levites shall do the service of the tent of appointment, so they themselves bear their crookedness, a law forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they are to have no inheritance. 24. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they present as a contribution to Yahweh, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel, they have no inheritance. Now, this goes back to going into a particular place, looking to place your tithes. Once again, the scripture just said, you're doing it for Yahweh. So why would you give your tithes where Yahweh is not? Meaning, if you are being told stuff that is not scripture and you are not being serviced from the spirit of Yahweh, then Yahweh's money should not go there. But we're not done reading though. Now we're gonna move on over to Matthew. And we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 23. You know this one already, right? We're gonna read it anyway. Chapter 23, verse 23. That's what I wrote down. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin and have neglected the weightier matters of the Torah, the right ruling and the compassion and the belief. These need to have been done without neglecting others. Once again, you don't give Yahweh's money to the devil. It's just what he's saying. But we're not done yet. Now we're going to go and move on to Lucas, or Luke, chapter 11. I wrote down verse 42. But woe to you, Pharisees, fake preachers, demon preachers, because you tithe the mint and the rue and every plant, and pass by the right ruling and the love of Elohim. These you should have done without leaving the others undone. It's all written plain and clearly. Plain and clear. Right? But we're not done though. We're not done. We still got 2 Corinthians chapter 9. I wrote down verse 7. Who serves as a soldier at his own expense? Who plants a vineyard and does not eat of his fruit? Or who shepherds a flock and does not feed on the milk of the flock? In other words, Yahweh gives you a blessing. Now, don't forget that he had already said all of this was his. All right? And he's the ruler of everything. He's the master. He's the creator. And he letting everybody know all this is his. All of it is his. And if he bless you with it, he intends for you to do what it's supposed to do with it. He's saying, why would I give you a blessing if I don't expect you to do with it what I said do with it? You ain't gonna starve. You ain't gonna go broke for being obedient. He promised you the other way. Line up with me and you're gonna unlock some things. Right? That's his word. That's Yeshua saying, hey, look, y'all, this way will lead you back to my Father. I figured it out. This is how I do it. This is how you can do it. Right? But we still got one more thing to look at. And this one's going to be Colossians. Colossians chapter 1. Colossians is one of them short things that I always pass up when I'm looking for it in the book. So just bear with me. I'm gonna get to it. So while I'm looking for that, let me tell you what brought this on today. I was in a position of any place being better than this place when it comes to living space. And I met a brother who became in a position to be able to assist me, and he did. And he never sweated me about if I had some money or how much money I had or when I'm gonna pay something or none of that. You know, it's like, hey, brother, you know, I seen you, you know, you was a cool cat, you know what I'm saying? I seen you do some things I like and I'm in a position to help you out. So, hey, if you want to, I'll be honored to do that. Not in those words, but that's what he did by his actions. And I appreciated that. So, because I'm not connected to anything, anybody, any house or space that I give my tithes to, I decided, you know, this brother's been patient with me. He's answered the call, did the right thing by me. So he's done the right thing by the Spirit of Yah. So my tithes went to him. And he was surprised. He was grateful. But I had to explain to him, while I appreciate your recognition and I appreciate, you know, the gratitude, you got to know that I'm just being obedient to my Father. Now, how does that work? Because I've been talking about giving your money or not giving your money to the devil, right? So how does that work? Well, we're going to get to that because now I finally found Colossians. Colosseum, chapter 1. I wrote down verse 18. All right. But we're going to go from 17. We're going to do 17, 18, and 19. Well, you know what? Might as well do 20 as well. So 17 through 20, Colossians, chapter 1. All right. And he is before all, and in him all hold together. And he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that he might become the one who is first in all. Because in him all the completeness was well pleased to dwell, and through him to completely restore to favor all unto himself, whether on earth or in the heavens, having made peace through the blood of his stake. So, this is speaking to the assembly, which will be you, with the Spirit of Yah in you that you align yourself with, seek after, as Yeshua suggested. Right? Now, how does this all tie together? So, because I don't go to a place and feel the spirit there and share my blessings with them. I did the next best thing. I spent it in the way of Yahweh because it helped him. See how that works? He answered the spirit of Yahweh and treated me kindly, with patience, respect, anything that a normal person deserves to have. So why would I not? That there is the spirit of Yahweh, irregardless to the fact that he may not be aware of his spirituality. He still operates in such a way that's not evil. In fact, he stretched his consciousness and made himself act in a way that's contrary to most people around him. So why wouldn't I get in the position to have my tithes in my hand, say a prayer for my tithes, and tithe it to that man? You get what I'm saying here? So what I'm suggesting is, for the kingdom of Yah, if you can't get the spirit from a place, or you just like wondering, what should I do with my tithes? I want to be obedient. Think about the spirit of Yahweh, where you have encountered the spirit of Yahweh. And you're going to know that you encountered the spirit of Yahweh because it'll touch you somewhere inside you. And how it's going to touch you is, it's going to touch you and show up as a truth. It's just undeniable. You're just going to know it in yourself. That is the truth. And you know the truth is only Yeshua, the word of Yahweh. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth from the mouth of Yahweh. That means the word of Yahweh is life, and without it is death. And there are way more ways to die than just to have the physical body stop living. So, we love you at the FD3 Music Club, and we hope that you have gained some clarity, some understanding in order to help you to raise your vibrations. And as you raise your vibrations, continue to fortify yourself with the living word. Understand what it means. And if you get stuck, go inside yourself. Father, I don't understand this. I'm going to make myself obedient because I'm going in line with your word one way or the other. If I don't do nothing else, I'm going to shake the blues. I'm going to pay my dues, but I'm coming home. You got to make that determination for yourself. You got to put the pieces together. You can't let people tell you anything and everything and how you going this way and that way and doing stuff you think is right, but it don't line up with scripture. Because the results is going to be, you're going to get it wrong. And the blessings that Yahweh has promised you will not reach you. So beware, because the enemy wants to trick you away from your blessings. He's come to kill, steal, and destroy. Once again, to kill is not just to end the physical body, which is why scripture tells us to guard what you see. You see it ain't right? Go away from that. Guard what you hear. You hear it don't line up? Don't mess with that. We love you. Yahweh loves you most. And you know I'm going to say it. You know I'm going to say it. Going to say it for me? it don't even matter, because if you say it, it ain't gonna mean the same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I love you, Kim. Shabbat Shalom once again, FD3 Music Club. Have a wonderful evening. Maybe contemplate some scripture. Introduce your child to some concepts that come from the living water that might stick with their little brains and make it fun for them, because Yahweh is about fun. He love the children. And anybody who hurt children in any way with intention, purposely, should be cut from head to toe with tiny little cuts 1,000 times and dropped in a pit of 17 wild, hungry boar and left. I said it. FD3 Music Club. One love.